What's up, Chief? It's Mirzi here, and in today's video, I wanted to talk to you about Wonderkid scouting. Everyone knows countries like England, Brazil, France, Spain have some of the best Wonderkids in the game, but those Wonderkids are usually very expensive and hard to get. That's why in today's video, I'm going to show you countries where you can get world-class Wonderkids at 20% the cost. These are the hidden Wonderkid factories that top FM players abuse, so let's just jump into this guide. When it comes to countries producing Wonderkids, there's 4 attributes that matter. 1 is something that is a nation rating, and 3 is something that depends on the club ratings. So the nation rating is called the national youth rating, and it's on a scale to 1 to 200, and countries like Brazil and France and Germany are around the 160 mark, and they are some of the best countries in terms of having the best rating. The other 3 are club ratings that are on a scale of 1 to 20, which is youth recruitment, youth facilities, and junior coaching. So countries that produce good Wonderkids at good value tend to be at a youth rating of 90 to 120, with a couple of big clubs that have really nice facilities. We will be looking at 3 European countries and 3 South American countries, as I feel like you can get the most value in those continents. And just a final point, we will be going through a random save that I simulated to 2035. So any players that you see that are 24 and under are actually regens. The first country I want to talk about is a European one, and that is going to be the country of Poland. Poland has a youth rating of 94 and has a couple of clubs that have really good infrastructure, like a club like Lech Poznan, who's not even the biggest club here. They have some of the best infrastructure in the country. If you look, if you go to facilities, you see they have 20 youth recruitment, 20 youth facilities, 16 youth coaching. That's some of the best. So they will be producing some really good Wonderkids at a really good price, about 5 to 10 million euros max. You can see in this random save, if you look at players that are 24 and under, which is the cutoff age for regens in this specific save, there are some really good players. So if you look at Grizel, who has 182 current ability, he's an absolute monster. And I have some references that I'll read off for you. So Declan Rice has 181 ability, Lautaro Martinez has 170, Zubamendi has 160, Mason Mount has 150, and Enzo Lefebvre has 140. Just so that that's a gauge for you guys for the rest of this video. You can tell that this guy is an absolute monster. And if you look, there's still a lot of other good regens and good players. You know, some of the lower ones are definitely championship standard, but if you look at potential ability, you can see a bunch of really good players that these are like good Premier League level players in terms of potential. And if you look at their transfer value, especially for players that are still, you know, in Poland and younger, you can get some really good deals. The next nation on our list, and our first South American nation, is going to be Uruguay. Uruguay is one of my favorite countries because it has a youth rating of 90, and you can get some really good players because their clubs have some really good youth ratings. The main 2 clubs in Uruguay are Nacional and Peñarol, but I've gotten good players from other clubs like Defensor Sporting and Liverpool FC as well. And if you go to clubs like Nacional and look at their facilities, you'll see that they have incredible youth ratings and have youth recruitment of 20, youth coaching of 17, facilities of 16. So they're going to be producing a bunch of Wonderkids at very cheap prices. And in terms of regens in this save that have really good potential, you can see that you can get some really good value here. Like, for example, Andres Pino, who plays for Nacional, is actually leaving on a free and going to Juventus, and he has 155 potential ability, which isn't crazy, but you know, it's another example of just the great value that you can get here. Real quick, if you're enjoying the video, please make sure to subscribe and follow me on Twitch. I stream there daily, and I got FM Journeyman save going on right now. The next country that is a Wonderkid factory is going to be another one in South America, and that is Colombia. Colombia is really overshadowed by countries like Brazil and Argentina in South America, but it has some really big clubs with really good youth ratings. You see they have 4 clubs that have continental reputation, and if you go to a club like Atlético Nacional and look at their facilities ratings, they have some of the best facilities ratings just in the game, period. 20 youth recruitment, 14 youth coaching, 19 youth facilities, 17 training. So they just bring up a lot of good players, and they don't really cost more than 5 million euros. Colombia has 117 youth rating and produces explosive, powerful sort of players. So you should be scouting it every season because it just produces players at a volume, because it has so many good clubs that have great training facilities, and great youth ratings. If we sort players in this save by potential ability, you see players from 180 down to like 150 that have potential ability and current ability. You see there's a bunch of great, Premier League level players already at pretty big clubs. But if you look at the potential, you see that there's a lot of good young players that you can, pick up for very, very cheap. For our next country, I want to head back to Europe, and we will be talking about Denmark. Denmark has a youth rating of 91, and its top 2 clubs have some of the best youth facilities in the game. So if you look at FC Copenhagen, you will see that they have training facilities that are 18, 20 youth facilities, 17 youth coaching, and 20 youth recruitment. That is some of the best numbers in the game, period. And for Midtjylland, it's slightly worse, but it's still very, very good. 15 training facilities, 15 youth facilities, 17 youth coaching, and 20 youth recruitment. Countries like Denmark will produce technical players that have really good mentals, and you can see it in the crop of players in this save again. You can see that there's center backs that are very mentally good, or have good technique. And if you look at some of the regions up here that are 18 years old, you can see that you can get them for $5 million. And again, 150 to 160 potential ability, and you can see that while he's not incredible right now, you can definitely develop him into a very, very good player. For our 5th country, we are going to go back to South America. It's going to be our last South American country, and the country is going to be Chile. Chile has a youth rating of 93 as a country, and some of its biggest clubs like Católica and Colo-Colo do produce some really, really good players. Those top 3 clubs that you see right there all have 20 youth recruitment. So we'll just look at Colo-Colo real quick as an example. You see that they have 20 recruitment, 15 youth coaching, 15 youth facilities, 14 training. Admittedly, they're the weakest country out of the 6, but in general, in all my saves, I tend to get a lot of good Chilean players all over Europe playing in some of the top clubs, and you can get them for really, really cheap as €1 million and even less sometimes. And if we look at some of the high potential players that are in this save, you see we have one that is going for free to Benfica actually tomorrow, and some of the other players you see are as cheap as, again, $1 million, 1.5, 2 to 3, and then we have even better players that are at clubs like Porto and Inter Milan. Filtering by current ability, you see that they have some really, really top players. Like the top Chilean player would be in and around some of the top teams in Europe. He's currently playing for Al Ittihad, but Boris Chamorro, who plays for Man United, is pretty good, has really good potential too. And all of these players up to, this guy, or like even this guy who plays for Benfica, and even this guy can probably play for a Premier League team. So, they have a good chunk of, 7, 8, 8 players that are, about Premier League level, and some of them are top class. Our 6th and final European country is going to be the country of Serbia. Serbia is one of the best countries when it comes to producing Wonderkids and value. So they have a youth rating of 100, which is pretty good. And their top 2 clubs, Red Star Belgrade and Partizan, have really, really good youth recruitment ratings. Here is Red Star Belgrade. You see 20 youth recruitment, 17 youth coaching, 18 youth facilities, and 17 training facilities. So they build up some really, really good Wonderkids that you can get for usually under €5 million. And here are Partizan's facility ratings. They're slightly worse. They have worse training and youth facilities, but they still have 20 youth recruitment and 17 youth coaching. And if we look at players in this save that are regions, that are Serbian, you see that there's some excellent players. I mean, this guy that's playing for Ajax, he is expensive, and he did come from Ajax's academy, but you see, 191, he's literally going to be one of the best players of all time. And you see this guy in Partizan. Yes, he's a little bit old, and he's probably never going to get to his potential, but you could probably have snagged him for, this $4 million tag a couple of years before, and maybe developed him a little bit closer to 178, maybe not all the way up there. But in general, you see there's a lot of good players. The lowest in this set of players, which is 13 players, is 151, which is still a really, really good Premier League player. And if you look at players by current ability, there actually isn't too many great players right now, but there is a guy named Stefan Sardar who has interest from Bayern Munich to go on a free. So there's definitely still some solid players out there. So to recap, I wanted to do 3 countries out of Europe, 3 countries out of South America that have really, really good value in terms of finding good Wonderkids that are cheap and won't cost you too much. And those 6 are Poland, Uruguay, Colombia, Denmark, Chile, and Serbia. If you enjoyed the video and made it this far, make sure to hit it with a like and make sure to subscribe to the channel. It took a good amount of research to get this all together. Okay, bye.